Did John the Beloved write the Gospel of John? Hey guys, it's John here, and I am back to talk to you about this comment that I got in, and I just want to go ahead and read the whole thing because I just think it's fun. Hello, JD! Exclamation point. Hello to you. Just saw your interview with Alex on Next Level Soul. It popped up in my feed synchronistically just as I was embarking on a research project on John the Beloved. My question to you is, do you believe the historical John of Zebedee really wrote the Gospel of John? I think he really did, but I know there are some who are skeptical. Thank you for your time and your amazing testimony. Love you, brave brother. Well, I thank you for your kind words, and I'm glad you appreciate what we're doing. We're going to part company a little bit on our beliefs, because your belief is that he really did. I have no memory of John writing anything. At the time of John was all oral tradition. It was a spoken word, and the stories were told and told and told. And the original documents that they found of the New Testament were written in Greek. They were not from an Aramaic or a Hebrew. The original ones were written in Greek. The oldest New Testament document that they attribute, that's in the Bible, not necessarily the Gnostic text, but in the Bible, is attributed to Paul, and it's a letter. So, and it's attributed to over 50 years after the crucifixion. So, the books are the oral traditions having been written down, which is why Bible theologians and Bible scholars will tell you that Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they think all came from the same source. But basically, it was older writings that were compiled into these three books and attributed to the apostles. I think the same thing's true with John. But I think in the Gospel of John, there are many things that are amazingly beautiful and amazingly good, but I also think there's things in there that are fallacies as well. And I think over the thousands of years of translation, misinterpretation, editing, manipulation, I think that everything is fallible, and I think there's a lot of flawed writing in all of it. The Gospel of John to me is well, number one, it's the most esoteric book in the Bible, but to me it's got some of the most beautiful passages, and some of the most beautiful. Of course, I'm kind of biased, but my memory, even in his old age, when John would send letters out to the various churches, John would speak and somebody else would write it down. And that was later in life. But when they were younger, they weren't carrying books and scrolls with them. They were going out free form, speaking. And it's much harder to be arrested and imprisoned when there's no documented evidence of what you're doing. And so they would go out and they would teach and they would speak, and then people would start to move on their own and realizing their oneness with God, which disempowers Rome and disempowers the Judaic leaders, the Jewish leaders. So it comes down to it is actually safer to not write it down. But the earliest texts, most of the earliest texts were oral tradition manipulated by early Jewish sects that were trying to add their own sort of agenda into the teachings. And what was their agenda? To create a Messiah, to create someone who could be the Messiah that the Judaic texts talk about. And so, do I believe John ben Zebedee? And by the way, if you want to be something really fascinating, the first person I saw in my regression was Zebedee. He was standing right beside me. His back was bad. He was actually leaning on either a staff or a stick because his back was so arched from all the years of pulling nets that he himself couldn't do the work anymore. But he had several boats and several fishermen doing fishing for him, and John was like a taking over that business in a sense. But yeah, very interesting. The first one I saw was actually Zebedee. But do I think he wrote it? I don't think he wrote it. I think it was all oral tradition, and I think it was written down from the oral traditions, and I think that it's not 100% accurate. I hope that answers your question, and I will talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.